All right, so we left off with this octagon variation. So I want to make sure I'm saving. And now I want to open up my central rosette file. And now we want to construct a four-fold rosette inside our square. So it's going to start off pretty similar to what we had before. I'm going to do a lot of reflection and rotation and all of those same things. But first, we're going to add a little bit more underlying structure. So I am going to add a circle in here, and I need another angle bisector. So let's start with the angle bisector. So underneath the perpendicular line tool, we're going to grab the angle bisector tool, and I'm going to click on points Q, E, and F. And with my move tool, I'm going to highlight that and make it red and dashed. So there's that angle bisector. Now I'm going to grab my intersect tool. I'm going to find the intersection of the circle with this line segment through ED. So mine is called A1. I'm going to grab my circle with center through point tool, and I'm going to construct circle Q A sub 1. All right. Next thing I need to do is I need to reflect this original blue line, H1, over that red dashed line, just like we did before. So it passes through SZ. I'm going to do, again, the reflection of that one over line segment FE. This time, though, rather than finding the intersection with that diagonal of the square, I want where this intersects that new angle bisector that I constructed. So right here at this point, B sub 1. So I'm going to reflect this line through SZ prime over that angle bisector B sub 1E. Notice that passes through point A sub 1. And I'm going to reflect that blue line through B sub 1 and A sub 1 over the diagonal of the square ED or OE, or excuse me, QE. I'm going to use my intersect tool, and I'm going to find point C sub 1. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to grab my reflect about line tool, and I want to reflect points B sub 1 and A sub 1 over that vertical line. And that's going to create a little petal for me. So I'm going to grab my polygon tool, and I'm going to click on C sub 1, A sub 1, B sub 1, S, D sub 1, E sub 1, and back on C sub 1. I'm going to make a sequence of rotations of those about point Q. This is called poly 4. So I'm going to type sequence rotate lowercase poly 4 by pi times I over 2 about Q, where I varies from 0 to 3. And I can hide poly 4. And now it's going to work just like the last pattern. So I'm going to select my kites and my petals, and I'm going to reflect them over ED. And now I'm going to make sequences of rotations. So I'm going to go and hide all of my blue lines and my red lines. And I'll leave the points for now, so we know about O and Q and P, that sort of thing. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Actually, let's go ahead and hide all the points except for O, P, and Q. How about that? All right, so we're going to make lists of lists. So L3. So I'm going to type sequence rotate L3 by pi times I over 2 about O, where I varies from 0 to 3. Honestly, I'm just going to copy paste, Control C, enter, and then I want L2 prime and L1 prime. Control V, replace 3 with 1 prime. Control V, replace 3 with 2 prime. Enter. And that gives me those. And let's say I want to expand this a little bit further. So with my reflective outline tool, I'm going to select these and line QP. And again, those have really gross names. So I'm going to rename this one to be L4. And I'm going to rename this one to be L5, because who wants to type L1 prime sub 1? Nobody. All right, so L4, L5, I'm going to do Control V, L4, Control V, L5. And now, if I want, I can also do the same thing with sequences of circles. If I want to fill in circles, I could do the same thing with polygons, make sequences of rotations of polygons. The sky's the limit, so I'd love to see what you plan to do with it. So let's turn our animation on and watch this thing go. It's pretty cool. I'm going to hide my circles. I'm going to hide those last 3 points. I'm going to hide my octagon polygons and that line segment G1. And then I've also got some lists here. I'm going to hide L1, L2, L3, and L4. Oh, and L5. And so I've just got L1, L2, and then my M1 through 5. And those are the only things I have visible except for my slider. I think it's kind of cool to watch the lines move, but we can hide those too. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining me. Have fun constructing.